everyone. My name is Helen Herimbi, and this is The Watch. I'm extremely excited about today's episode because today we talk to musicians. Obviously, during this lockdown, musicians have really stepped up and, created songs, taken part in battles. They've also done concerts from their homes, all sorts of things. And I wanted to speak to these particular musicians because I felt like some of their songs were so lockdown ready. So I'm going to be talking to Bongeziwe Mabandla as well as Darky Fiction about whether their songs are a sign of the times. Thank you so much for joining me today, Bongeziwe. How is the lockdown actually treating you? Be honest.
Be honest. I'm loving it. I won't lie. I didn't realize how tired I was generally. I think we work so much, and there's not even a time to decide that you're tired and you can sleep in. So I really love being at home, and I'm always away from home, and it's wonderful to completely be at home and also release from home. I've never really done that. I've released an album and I've had to be everywhere. So but so far so good.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, Uti, you've released 2 albums before this, and that's a different kind of cycle. It's a different kind of beast. And I know that you're very busy right now that you've released Imini. But what is the thing that sticks out for you the most that's different about this release and this release cycle?
Well, it doesn't have really anything to do with the lockdown, but we really worked on a lot of content for this album. So there was a lot of thoughts before the actual release in terms of visuals, photography. Also, the way we rolled out the album, it was very different. And it's really a lot to do with my management, We wanted to make the people really excited about the album before. So I think we released 4 singles before the album. So it's just, I feel a lot more better prepared for this album. I'm getting really better live-wise. So I feel like all those things, all that preparation put together has been really remarkable.
Yeah, dope. So I'm going to paint a picture for you, né? And then you must paint a picture for me. So it's a few days into lockdown, né? And I'm listening to this album, right, that you just dropped called Imini. And I'm just listening, minding my business. And then I hear this song, right? And I'm thinking, if you are in lockdown and you have no one to sala with, because the song I'm talking about is Sala Nabani, ne? And in it, you're basically saying, how are you going to leave me? Who am I going to be left with if I'm by myself? And then I thought, Oh my God, did you know the lockdown was coming and then people would be by themselves?
Yeah. No, I had no idea. Yeah, that song was, it's a strange one. Actually, that's my biggest surprise with this album. I didn't think people would really relate to it a lot. And I'm really surprised how people have connected with it. I think I might be good at breakup songs. It's my thing. But yeah, it really just came from the place of connecting with somebody, and then that connection all of a sudden disappears. It can be. I know from my experiences, my breakups have been terrible. I think if you're not ready to lose somebody, it can be a bit of an issue.
Yeah. So when I was selling Oban,
I'm all by myself. But I'm used to solitude a bit. I'm used to solitude.
Okay. Did you ever find Sisa?
Who?
Sisa.
Sisa. Which Sisa?
Do you remember sharing with the public this letter?
Oh, yeah.
Found?
Yes. No, I never found
the story, because I don't think everybody knows. So maybe tell people what happened.
Oh, yeah. I actually also forgot as well. No, I used to stay in this flat at my old place, and there was a storage in that flat, and there was just lots of stuff that belonged to other people who lived in the flat. So one day I was trying to clear it up, and I stumbled across this letter, and I read this letter, and it was this girl pouring out her heart and soul to her boyfriend. And I think had started on this album, but when I read that letter, it just really reminded me of how I wanted my album to feel like. It was like, yeah, it's a love letter. It's trying to put your emotions in a sentence. So yeah, that letter became a little bit of an influence in my writing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you called this album Imi Nina. And so the translation is days, right?
Yes.
But then next to the titles, you also have what seems to be dates.
Yes.
And if they are dates, they span from 2016 to 2019.
Yeah.
What's happening? Like, tell us the significance of it.
No, I wanted to be a bit accurate about this relationship that I had documented, because I really wrote from a relationship that I experienced. And sometimes, when you write from truth, you can add those little touches of, so I went back to my Facebook account. So when me and the person started talking and what we were speaking about, just to kind of give a timeline of when things happen, this is directly from my life. And it's really hard for a musician like me who writes so much from their own personal life. Sometimes it's really difficult to talk about certain songs and explain sometimes fully, because some of the things, they really come from, I would say, a really private place. So yeah, the dates were the actual days about when I think, I think Isipelo, there's a date. I went back and researched when, the breakup happened. So just to be a little bit truthful and to bring that sense of honesty a bit to the album.
Yeah. So that means it's like a timestamp, right? That means if we go to Facebook and we look up that specific day, there might be something that tells us. I don't recommend it. Don't recommend it. But what I also want to... Hey?
I'm saying you won't find anything though, but
make sure you delete everything. So there's also a song that seems very close to your heart on this album. And I know you don't like to get into the personal, but I'm interested in the idea behind Kangela.
Kangela. Kangela is a very personal song. And it's really written about, I experienced a lot of rejection and neglect from a very young age, and I have been dealing with it my whole life. But I think, rejection, what do they say, breeds obsession. So I've always been very obsessed about being loved and finding love. And that's what the song is about. I wanted to write about my loneliness, but also write about the things that I've done looking for love.
Yeah. And you also include some talking bits where the guy is saying, but first you have to love yourself, right? That's the sentiment.
Yes.
So who is that guy? Like, why did you feel you wanted to add that element to the song?
Yes, I wanted this album to feel like something, and also a lot of the inspiration for me to write this. I noticed that a lot of my friends, a lot of us are so obsessed with finding the one, every time my friends and I would meet, we always seem to be talking about the same thing, how this one is heartbroken and how you got played and how you almost finding the one and then they break your heart. So this topic, it was around me a lot. So I wanted to put that bit of the album that, people are always in these conversations about what real love is and what real love is not. And I wanted to put that kind of home home kind of feeling, conversation type of feeling in the album.
Yeah. So who's talking on it?
It's actually a friend of mine. His name is Tsepo. He works near Carfax, and he was here, and I was telling him about the idea, and I was saying I'd love to record you speaking and blah blah blah. And we actually walked downstairs, and I actually pressed the recorder by accident, and he said that line, and it's only when I listened back to the recorder I was like, oh shit, this is so accurate, and just added to use it.
Yeah. Hey, umdokdala, hey? Like ukhumbula Carfax. It's not called Carfax anymore.
That's where I live, right? This is Carfax here.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm gonna bring in other people who know a lot about love. I'm gonna bring in, yes. I'm gonna bring in.
I love them.
Do you?
Yeah. I've seen them perform. I think maybe it was in a video, but yeah, I know about them and I love their music. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very cool. And they also have love. Pardon?
Eastern Cape.
It's that Xhosa Connect. Cosa Nostra. Okay, I'm phoning them. I'm not sure. Okay, I guess we'll just wait until they get online. But I am calling. Oh, hey!
Hello. Can you guys see us?
We want to see you.
Hello.
Can you see us?
Hi.
What up, Bonesiwe?
Hello, baby.
Hey.
Is this a new family member?
Hello. She's got a piece of bread in her. She's got a piece of bread in her hand, so she's a bit preoccupied right now.
Oh, you're starting her young with that bread life, man. Like, get that bread.
You just grabbed it from my hand, to be honest.
Get that bread.
So I was just speaking to Bongeziwe about music in the time of Corona, and I thought it was very important to have you guys on here because you are about to release your second EP in April, but also you guys had a song called High Risk that you were planning to put out, and then the coronavirus said no. Tell me about that.
So basically, I was home and there was like a lot of news playing, obviously. And then I just kept hearing the word high risk, obviously related to the situation. And I was like, oh my word, we're releasing the song on Friday, and like this is the buzzword right now. So then I called Kat and I was like, dude, like let's talk about this. And then we were like, it's just not the right time. It wouldn't be sending the right message to be telling people to risk it. And it's like, everyone else is saying, don't take risks right now. Wash your hands, stay safe, stay at home. And we'd be like pumping the Kwaito tune saying risk it, everybody. So, and also we kind of were also like torn between, it might seem like, because like, I don't know, maybe people might see it as like we what's English? Like we being opportunists, like the word is buzzing right now. So yeah, exactly. So here you go. Here's a song called High Risk because it's high risk right now. And we just like we're not trying to be those kind of artists. So we were just like, nope. And we just didn't want to be insensitive to the time and like just gain personally, but not be like contributing positively to what's happening socially.
Yeah, I respect that so much because I think for me, when I heard the song, it felt like you guys are saying, why you so, you're it's like, go after your dreams, right? You're saying like, don't be to go after your dreams. And I wouldn't have taken it as you guys saying, don't wash your hands. So,
for sure.
Tell me a little bit about how you came to write that song.
That was actually, out of all the songs that are on the EP, that was the last one that we recorded and wrote to. So it was kind of like, we're kind of missing a level. compared to the rest of the song. So we need something that's gonna almost like pump and take it there. So yeah, we spoke to the producer. We told him that this is something that we need. He came with the beat. We wrote to it on the last day of recording when we were recording the EP, and it's basically just, you know, us affirming
Letting
our
go.
place in the industry, letting go of naysayers or letting go of any doubts that we might have personally, and just like, you know what, this is us. All we need to do is just do it. There's no reward if you don't risk it. You know, you have to risk it to get the biscuit. Is what we spoke about. So we kind of took that, yo, risk it, just do it, follow your dreams, don't be scared, don't listen to anybody who's telling you any different. Just believe in yourself and just like dollar, dude.
Yeah, and even the way we wrote it, like all the other songs we took maybe like a month to write. And High Risk we wrote in like 3 hours in the studio. It was just a song where we let go and we were like, just say what's on your heart, be a bit cocky if you want to be, and just like enjoy it. Don't think too hard.
Yeah, that also feels like testament to what your EP is about and what it's titled, right? Because it's Endaweni, and the title track is pretty much you guys. The title track is pretty much you guys reflecting on how far you've come, right? And how far your faith has carried you. So when you look back, well, when you look forward, rather, how do I phrase this? So when we are in the future and you're looking back on this time in this pandemic, what do you want to have said about yourself? Like when you're looking back on this time, you'll be like, this is what we did. This is what we were about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And Bongiwe, you're not the hook, so you must also think about the answer for yourself.
Yeah, that's a hectic question. But I think like the EP's purpose, we kind of make the music and we let God tell us what to do. And then when we reflect back and we listen to it all together, we kind of like then are able to say what it's going to do. Like we don't write songs aiming that this one is going to do this. We just write them and finish a project. And then when we listen back, we're like, okay, I think this project can do this and this and this and this, if that makes sense. And when we listen back to this project, we felt like a healing power. And I guess that's reflective of the space we were in when we made it, of needing that ourselves. And so I think that's what it's going to do. And in a time where people are at home and like not working, and a lot of people are stressed out and like, what am I going to do next? I think this project will really like help them and heal them and give them something to listen to when they're not feeling so great. And hopefully afterwards they feel a little bit lifted. So I think that's what I would like. That's what I think we'll be able to say, is that like we gave people some comfort.
Yeah. Okay. Bongeziwe, what are you gonna look back and say?
I make these albums mostly for people, you know, who've ever experienced love and who've ever been in a relationship and in a connection. So I that's what I hope it will do for people. Is really, I think in this time when everybody is isolated, I think the thoughts of people who they really love or their regrets, I think everybody's is kind of reminiscing about somebody or thinking about somebody. And I hope that this album gets those kind of emotions in.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen that recently there's been all these reports about countries like Germany, how they are dishing out millions for the arts and to support artists and freelancers. And I'm sure you've seen our Minister of Arts, Culture and Sports and his relief plan. So I'm wondering, what are your thoughts? Do you guys feel like as artists in this country, you are being supported during a hectic time like this pandemic?
Go for it, Bongeziwe.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, you know, and even before the lockdown, before the virus, you know, like I don't think like South African artists are very well looked after. So I can't imagine things getting better now. So yeah, I think these are problems that we had way before the virus. And yeah, so I doubt we'll be able to solve them anytime now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, what I see or what I kind of like feel is pretty much the same as what Bongezi was saying. Like, to start with, the artists and musicians or painters or writers in South Africa, they're not really well taken care of. It's almost as if like they don't really care about them in reality, although they might say that they do. Um, but much like, say, for instance, the watching on the news, homeless people are now being provided for, like they're getting tents and that kind of stuff, and they're making plans for those people. So the ability to do that is there, but it's just that they don't care. So, like, as much as they're doing stuff for, homeless people, what's going to happen for those homeless people once this COVID virus, this whole pandemic is like history kind of thing?
Yeah.
Are they still going to continue doing those kind of things or not? Same with artists. There has been a plan for artists, but we are yet to see if that's actually going to happen, Like, if say it's 200 million, will that 200 million get divided equally? Will everybody who got a piece of that be happy about it, if they even get a piece of that? Or is it just something that they're saying to appease the masses?
And is it going to be a thing of like who to get that money? Like how is it going to be regulated?
Sure.
Yeah.
100%.
So I think the responsible thing to do would be to say that our minister has said there are a couple of millions that will be in the relief fund, and I think those will be going to artists that already had projects that were in line with the government. So I think they'll be first preference, but they've also opened up for tender proposals and other things that you can apply for within this relief fund. So let's not bash them completely. They made a plan. It might not be a plan for everybody, but
okay, what is? Oh, sorry. Yes.
No, I was just saying, like, I'm very interested in all artists being able to have a livelihood even beyond the lockdown, and not just artists who were already working with government,
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just what I think. But before I let you guys go, I think everybody is like, well, now that we're at home, we can do concerts and, there's this digital thing that keeps us connected. But what do you think the future of music is if we can't ever be social again?
It's heartbreaking. Yo, my heart just shattered.
The future of music, what are those things called? Those things, the telegram, not telegrams, man.
Which one?
Holograms.
Holograms.
Yeah.
Holograms. Yes.
Oh, you guys will be back in 6 seconds. So the future is hot.
We'll have Bongezi with a hologram guitar. The guitar standing there live on a stand, but him himself will be a hologram.
100%.
Okay. What do you think is the future, Bongezi?
I don't know, but I definitely perform better in my room.
So you're loving this.
I definitely do. Like I was telling somebody, I always rehearse in my kitchen, like where I am now. And I always, like, when I'm rehearsing for a show, I'd come here and I'm like, good evening, Joburg, how are you guys feeling? And now I'm actually doing it for real.
You've been preparing for this.
You knew all along.
The aim of our show is to lift people's spirits in this lockdown and even beyond. And I think from you guys as creatives who already have made your mark in this country and beyond, for somebody who's sitting at home, like, I was about to become a musician, I was about to do this, and now I'm stuck in my house and I feel like I don't have a future. What is the one thing that you feel like is a practical, tangible thing that they can do in this lockdown that will help them to not give up?
I'd say use the internet. I mean, like, with or without lockdown, that's how we got to where we are today. Like we're not so supported by the mainstream or TV or radio or anything like that. The internet is how we've made money, how we've become artists. So I'd say don't give up. The internet is still there. And yeah, that's what I would say.
Just practice. People should take this time to like write and actually hone their craft and figure out what they're trying to do. So like use the internet, but more than anything, just practice because things will change. Not saying that everything will go back to the way that they used to be, but things will change. And when that time comes, it's the best thing to be prepared.
Right. Bongeziwe?
Yeah, I was about to say you took my words. I was gonna say, I wish I was an artist who was writing an album now, because a lot of us, like I was saying earlier, we've been so busy being everywhere. To get a chance to be at home and to wind down is a very good creative thing, to work on your music, to improve your music, to keep writing your music. I think it would be a very beneficial time to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I can't wait to see you guys in real life on stages again. That's my year. But thank you for joining me, and all the best with the lockdown and even beyond.
Thank
you so much.
When are you guys doing your live? When is your live?
Hijacking my show.
Yeah.
It already happened. It happened but we didn't. It wasn't a performance. It was a listening session.
Yeah.
So no live performances on Instagram?
It's just hard. Like maybe you can give us advice, like because there's no guitar here. There's no, you know what I mean? It's like it's like electronic. You know what I mean? So it's not. We're not like, and we're gonna feel lame being like like just standing there. We don't have something to. I don't know.
Yeah. It's the same as well, not with a band, but I think sometimes people appreciate like quiet, down-tempo kind of performances, even like an a cappella kind of thing, I think would really be beautiful. Yeah. I think people want to see their musicians as well. Like I'm also like searching, when is Lauryn Hill coming online? Yeah.
Okay, so I think
thank you for that. We needed that. Thank you.
I think then Bongeziwe has set a challenge for his fellow in case we need an acoustic set, and I'm going to give you a date for it. I think your acoustic set should be on the 15th of April, and we will check in back to see how you're doing.
All right, Helen, that sounds good.
All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you. Bye, Munchkin.
Bye.
Thank you so much to Bongeziwe Mabandla as well as Darky Fiction and the cute Munchkin for basically looking out for us today and sharing their tips and their advice about being a musician in these times. I hope that this episode of The Watch reminds you that your creativity can still be significant even in a time that you hadn't anticipated. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. My name is Helen Herimbi, and this has been The Watch.